Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to talk about an exciting potential new team that's coming Marvel Strike Force. I've already touched on this in the last week, guys, but to be honest, it was more speculation than anything. But now, we do have a little bit more information on what this could be, and there's a possibility, guys, that it can even be a Mystic Raid team coming. So why do I have Phantom Rider, Hitmonkey, Volt actually shown on screen? Well, it's because this is really how it all started giving us some hints about what potentially could be in the works from Marvel Strike Force, right? The announcement of Phantom Rider joining the Secret Warriors was the first time that we've ever seen a character that lost in a vote to Hitmonkey. As we know, he's part of the Vigilante team, but Phantom Rider now was still officially added into the game, so it goes to show us that you can actually, in fact, revisit past votes, and in fact, even those that lost the vote overall could come into the game, because I believe this is useful information for Scopely and Marvel Strike Force to assess really the sentiment and demand of players, especially when you give them a certain select characters. How popular was that? So that's a perfect segue to Werewolf by Night, because this was probably one of the most close votes that we've ever seen in terms of who was going to get added into the Night Stalker team. As you know, Man-Thing was officially confirmed, and then Werewolf by Night not losing by much. This was very, very close, guys, in terms of just how many, how divided and how split the player base was, right? A huge fan favorite. So there was a lot of potential that this character could be coming to Marvel Strike Force. But again, we didn't know that we could actually go back to past votes where they lost. And in this case, yes, now it's very possible, guys, that this could be a team that's formulating the next Mystic Raid team coming to Marvel Strike Force. Now, why do I bring up Mystic Raid? Well, it wasn't really quite clear, to be honest, until we have more information that got essentially discovered this week. So, what am I referring to? Werewolf by Night, if you go ahead and search, his most prominent team is the Midnight Suns. And he, given his nature, given his background and understanding, he could very well be some sort of bio-mystic character, and that's why the possibility is there. What I have here is a list of possible character reworks that could be part of this team, and as well as the ones that aren't as likely, right? So Blade, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Punisher, Wolverine, Satana. I mean, they're all newer to the game. That's why I can't see them really being part of this new team. They're still part of other teams that are getting used, so it just wouldn't really make a lot of sense. But you never know what they could do, especially since RJ himself and Pathfinder have said that the focus for 2026 will be reworks. So it's very possible that a new team could be very well made up of reworks, similar to what we saw with Secret Warriors, led by Phantom Rider, and then all of it is reworks, right? But I do want to talk about the possibilities, guys, because there's some other characters that have not been reworked for quite some time, like Ghost Rider, Elsa, we have Morbius, Nico, we have Captain Marvel, and then we also had that crossover event previously before, I forget which game, sorry, but there was a new costume for Magic, so she was also included in this mix. So that's why there's actually a lot of possibilities of which characters, but if you filter that out, Ghost Rider, Elsa, I forget Morbius. I think he's Mystic as well. So, I mean, out of that mixture, there's only so many Mystic characters. So, unless they plan to go that route of dual trading, similar to what we saw with Aspire Society, and similar to what we also saw with other teams in the game, right? It's very, it's a possibility that they can add those traits to switch things up, so that way we can pivot into that raid setting. But the new information that came to light this week, guys, was the Multiversal Blast event. We finally saw the teaser here. Remember, this is how Emma Frost, Madeline Pryor, Shocker, Vulture, heck, we had some members of the Secret Warriors. This is how we knew that there was going to be a possible rework coming. And now that Doctor Strange Heartless has shown his face on this Multiversal Blast, it pretty much is a direct, intentional teaser that he's going to be in some way, shape, or form included, right? I just don't know if it's going to be the same team with Werewolf by Night, but it's just funny that the timing of this, with me speculating that Werewolf by Night could be included in some sort of future team. And then also turns out, and this is why I have Doctor Strange actually highlighted in yellow here, is because I was not including the original Doctor Strange here as part of this team, because as you know, he got a pretty massive, juicy rework with the Astral team, and that's currently where they're housed as the only Battle World team right now. But I did not account for the other Doctor Strange that we have in the game, right? Which in this case is Heartless. He has not been touched on in quite some time. Basically, when Darkhold was released, but then, especially if you're using him in Arena, he got easily phased out because of the way that the Four Horsemen worked in conjunction with one another, especially once you've unlocked Apocalypse. So, before you know it, you know, Doctor Strange Heartless did have a limited time, and then he got pushed out because there's just way better tunes on top of him, right? But how cool would that be, guys? How cool would that be if Doctor Strange Heartless is actually part of, and you can even see him. He's even in the background there for Midnight Suns, but it could be a different version of him in conjunction with Werewolf by Night as part of this potential Mystic team. And I keep, you know, referencing Mystic Raid, guys, because last but not least, this is the summary that I always try to take a look at every single couple of months here in terms of just potentially predicting what the requirements of this, right? Keep in mind, you know, usually with an investment of a raid team, they typically last about a year to a year and a half. There have been some teams in the past that lasted a little longer than they should have. You know, for example, as you can see, for the top two there, we had Extreme X-Men and Inspire Society, roughly a year. But Extreme X-Men really only lasted that long because there was opportunities to pivot and switch different mutant characters. Like, you know, slotting in Old Man Logan. You can bring in Apocalypse. You can use some different mixtures there previously of Dev Seed in conjunction with Extreme. So that's why they lasted the span of time, which was amazing value. But now that we've kind of pivoted over to the current meta, you know, what do we currently have? We have Night Stalkers, Vigilantes, Thunderbolts, and more recently, Hellfire Club, and lastly, Insidious 6, who's still currently getting released. And we also have the Spotlight Raids currently with Alpha Flight, which we know is in the red right now because it's been over a year and a few months plus now in terms of what that's going to be looking like if they decide to keep Spotlight Raids. And obviously, we know Uncanny Avengers came out earlier this year. So they still have a bit of shelf life, in my honest opinion. Now, the only one in yellow here is actually Night Stalkers because they are the next team to go, guys. Remember, they came in last year, October 2024. So I know time flies, and it feels like if you just built them up to the max because we needed them for annihilation rates because they specifically now require those set teams, that may be the reason why you feel like you just recently invested in them, but that's not the case. They actually have been here for almost a year, and they are going to be due very quickly here in terms of being rotated out. So all the stars, to be honest, lining up quite nicely. Mystic Raid team is on the way out. We know that there's going to be a revision to the Annihilation raids because the Omega version has not come out, which is perfect timing to signal, obviously, Insidious 6 plus another raid team. Doctor Strange Heartless getting teased here, and Midnight Suns teaser potentially because Werewolf by Night was such a popular character that lost in the vote, and we haven't really caught a whiff of him ever since. So let me know down in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Are you interested in seeing this team coming to Marvel Strike Force? Are you interested in the fact that there's going to be a potential new raid team coming in the coming months here? I'm definitely excited to see that for sure, especially how prominent and how popular Werewolf by Night is. But also, more importantly, are you guys a fan or not a fan? Or do you think I'm just full of it in terms of the speculation? Do let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.